Hi, welcome to the Lieutenant Governor Fireside Chats. And today it is my honor and privilege to have with me my good friend, Representative Karickhoff from the Kokomo area, from Howard County, I think along with some other counties. But I'd like to start, Mike, by, and I may call you Mike.
Absolutely. We go back a long time.
Yes, we do. I'd like to start by asking you, how did you get involved in public service? What drew you to public service?
Well, I was the park superintendent for many years in Kokomo. And obviously, when you work for local government, you get to know your city council, your park board, your mayors. And after several decades of serving as park superintendent, I left the city. And when I left the city, I thought, you know what, this would be a good opportunity to get engaged locally. I knew people of all political stripes. And so I threw my name in the ring, as they say, and the rest is history. So I've had a great run now for almost 2 decades, both as a city councilman and as a state rep.
And so coming from local government, don't you think that really gives you a better understanding of the issues that affect your local?
Absolutely.
Because I came from the same background.
Right. When we've talked about this, when you serve at the local level, it's not so much about DRR, it's about your community. And as we've learned down here, so much of it's rural Indiana versus urban Indiana or suburban Indiana. So I think my time on the city council was good. I'm so glad we had a big contract with the reservoir. And so I interact with a lot of country folks when I was park superintendent, as well as those urban folks. And it's been a good experience, which really has kind of broadened my understanding of government and how assessed values affect property tax levies, and kind of was on the city council when our state went through the whole property tax cap referenda and how that has impacted not just school finance, but local units of government, cities, towns, counties. So it's been a learning experience.
Well, and we served together in the House and served on Ways and Means together. And it was because of your leadership and your kind of commitment and passion to making government more responsive to the people that I sought you out when we had our legislation to transition our state tourism agency to the now Indiana Destination Development Corporation, which looks at not just attracting tourists, but also attracting business and talent and keeping our young people here.
Absolutely.
So you were a champion. Thank you. Tell us about that experience, because it was interesting.
Well, it was. And what you may not know is my wife, for many years, served as a local on the local tourism council. So she was all about bringing visitors to our state. So I kind of had my interest in parks and seeing locals or out-of-state folks come and visit and stay overnight. So I had that interest going in as well. So look, the model that we're using with the Indiana Destination Development Corporation kind of mirrors what we did with the Indiana Development Corporation for our economy. It's that business and government partnership that allows us to leverage not only our public resources, but private resources. And we all know that private business is much more efficient than government. We love our government allies, but at the end of the day, when we can partner, we really get the full value. So we've done that. Elaine Beadle, the new executive director, I think has showed, even in the pandemic, I just saw some TV advertisements about how can we get people to move to Indiana, visit Indiana, and then stay. And so that's been exciting.
And then we have the NCAA.
I know, we're going to have the Big Ten tournament this week,
Yeah.
The NCAA. We're probably, the eyes of the nation are going to be Indiana in this next month. And I know we're going to rise to the challenge and really do a great job.
So how has COVID kind of affected the ability of the General Assembly to meet and to pass meaningful legislation? Because you got to pass a budget.
Yes, we do. Well, it's different, and I'm sure it's different for you too. How one views this pandemic is very different. Again, based on urban and rural, where you live really has a great effect on how you perceive the seriousness of the threat. I think the governor has done, and you too have supported him, and done a phenomenal job in making sure that we're safe and that our economy has stayed open to the fullest extent possible. So when we look at other states that surround us, wow, we're light years ahead. What we've done, not just with our K-12, but what we've done with business. Early on, those are scary times when Chrysler and the big automotive factories in Kokomo shut down, it's a pretty uneasy feeling. But we got those things opened up just as quickly as possible, got the protocols in place. And knock on wood, hopefully we're going to get this economy opened up with even less restrictions moving forward.
Absolutely. So in closing, share with our listeners something about Mike Karickhoff that they may not know.
Well, I consider myself to be a pretty young guy, but we have 10 grandchildren. They're all very different, and they're all blessings. And one of my grandchildren has cerebral palsy, and that's a challenge. And as you well know, you and I have worked together on legislation to help the disabled. And so some of the most meaningful things we've done is funds to help direct service providers that work in those facilities that don't have the resources to help care for these folks. And I know you've championed it for many years. We've both been recognized by NARF, and what a heartwarming. So, that's kind of a passion I've had. A lot of people don't know that. They view me as a guy that works on the budget and tries to be fiscally conservative, which I am, but I also think we have to invest in human capital, and we've done that too. So thanks for the invitation.
Absolutely. And now you can see why Representative Karickhoff is one of my favorite legislators, because he has a heart and a compassion for people. So thank you.
Thanks for having me.